God got me lit. So if you're just coming to this video, look to the left. I'm gonna have a link there that's gonna pop up for you to go watch part 1, because I'm in the middle of telling a story about Mordecai, Esther, Queen Vashti, and King Xerxes. So click on that link to the right on your side, because it's my left. So anyway, I was basically saying that Mordecai was telling Esther, hey, if you don't go ahead and step with us now as a Jew, because you're a Jew, so you should be taken up for us, especially since you have influence from the palace, being that you're with King Xerxes. Don't just forget about us, because when relief comes, we gonna step. You know, and like I was saying, it's customary for countries to go on war back then, and even now. The USA is in war with other people, and we're safe to a certain degree as a country, because we have soldiers fighting for us in different countries. So anyway, that, clicked for her, and she was like, okay, well, I definitely need to do something, because, he right. So she went ahead and she sent him a message back and said, basically, tell everybody to fast for 3 days and 3 nights. I'm gonna go talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stand by our people. If I die, I die. Because she was scared that she was gonna die by the hands of King Xerxes for just stepping into that place that was sacred without being welcome, without being commissioned to come in. Of course, when she comes, he can grant her the capacity by using his scepter to say, hey, come on in. So she went ahead and she went to King Xerxes, and he loved her a lot. You know what I mean? She was beautiful. You know what I mean? And she had his favor. So he said, hey, tell me what's on your mind. And she said, I got something to ask you. He said, ask me whatever you want. I'll give you half of the kingdom. Whatever for you, my love. So she said, well, all right, well, let's go ahead and set up a supper or a banquet. I'm gonna cook, and I want you to sit down with me, and, we'll talk. And she said, invite Haman. And so he, again, later on, while they were sipping some wine, asked her, so are you gonna tell me what your inquiry was about? And she was like, come on, my guy, I just told you, we're gonna sit down at supper. She didn't say it disrespectfully, but she said, hey, I'm gonna tell you at supper. Just wait till supper, and I'm gonna present my request to the king. Because I have to be clear on that, because I'm over here being a man talking direct, but she was more submissive about it. You see what I mean? More sweet with it. And so he was like, all right, my love, like I told you, whatever you want. So meanwhile, while this is going on, Haman has walked past, and he knows that he sent the decree, because he's obviously the one who sent it. And he sees Mordecai at the gate, and he's expecting him to be on some, oh my gosh, there goes Haman, and scared because of the decree that he just sent out. But Mordecai wasn't even fazed. He didn't even look at him. He just acted like he didn't exist. You see what I'm saying? And that made Haman very upset with Mordecai, because Haman was expecting Mordecai to be frightened, scared, shivering in his boots, cowering before him, like, please let my people live, please. Nah, Mordecai was solid. He wasn't on that. He was like, I'm not gonna sit here and bow before you. I don't care what type of decree you send out. And that infuriated Haman even more. He was wanting to strike him down, most likely right there. Like, how dare him? He's still not scared of me? That had to make him feel like nothing. He didn't bow, for one. And now, two, after the decree was sent out, he's not even fazed by it. He not even showing me no type of acknowledgement. But he let his peace be kept. And I'm talking about Haman. He let his peace be kept, even though he was upset with Mordecai for not showing no type of reaction, because he was like, y'all people gonna be going anyway, because, yeah, me and the king, we like this. So I already sent the decree out, so your people gonna be nothing. So I'm gonna get the last laugh. So he went ahead, out of Mordecai's presence, went home, and he was talking down on Mordecai to his family, saying how just even seeing him at the gate was arousing him to anger and things of that nature. And he's just talking down on Mordecai about what he's gonna do, and how even now, after the decree has been put out, he's showing some type of insolence towards Haman, even though he really wasn't showing no insolence, but again, Haman is power tripping. So he tells his family this, and his family's on his side, and they start saying, well, build a 50 cubit pole, which is about 75 feet, to impale Mordecai in. So they like, bro, you got the power, just kill him, hang him up on a pole. You know what I mean? Go ahead and get him hung, or get him impaled on a pole, which means that pole going through your body. You see what I'm saying? And you're gonna be hanging on it. So they say, yeah, talk to the king. You and the king, y'all locked in, so get him impaled on a pole. And then he arrogantly was like, yeah, and not only that, I've been invited to go eat with the king and Esther. So I'm definitely gonna mention that. You see what I'm saying? But whole time, he don't know that Esther already been laced up by Mordecai, and she's about to invite Haman there to plead her cause to the king, You see what I'm saying? So while he's in the midst of talking with his family, the servants came from the king's castle, his dwelling, to go ahead and bring Mordecai to the supper with Queen Esther and King Xerxes. So he gets there, and before he got there, I mean, I can tell you what happened there. She told him, like, somebody wants to wipe out my people. Esther told King Xerxes, like, somebody wants to wipe out my people. If I found favor in your eyes, if I've been a good, queen to you, a good woman, I would like my people to be spared, because somebody who hates me and hates my people, they want to destroy me. And, the king's like, wait, what? What you mean? Because she's presenting her cause in a way, by saying somebody wants to destroy her and her people, that somebody's against her. And he's like, who's against you? Like, my queen? Like, he loves her. You see what I'm saying? So he's like, what? I'm willing to take anybody out. And she was like, that servant of yours, or that person, Haman, he's against us. You see what I'm saying? That's basically essentially what she did. So before she got to telling him that it was Haman, she was just telling him that somebody, was coming against her. But she ain't really go too much into detail. She just kind of insinuated and laid out the field of what they was going to be discussing. So once Haman got there, she turned it up a notch. And she was like, yeah. And the king was like, who is this person? She was like, oh, it's Haman, him right here. He's the one who's trying to destroy us and get us. Yada. You see what I'm saying? And the king was like upset. He got up. King Xerxes was like, put his wine down, got up, walked outside. And Haman knew he messed up right there. He was like, dang, because he already knew that it was about to be like death done to him, because the king was in anger. So he started to go and plead with Esther to have the king spare his life. As he was doing that, and Esther was, sitting there kind of like, lying down, or even posturing herself in a feminine way. You know how females like to be in the car with you, and they like to have their legs up, or, in the seat, like, how they be. You see what I'm saying? So she was kind of like not sitting upright. So she could have been like slouching or laying down, or, you see what I'm saying? In a comfortable feminine way. And the king was coming back in, King Xerxes, and Haman was going over to her to be, on his knees to plead his cause and, be submissive under her. But from the king's eyes, when he came in, he was like, oh, so you dare to rape my wife in my presence? To touch my wife in my presence? To go ahead and molest her? Even in my castle, even in my home? Because remember, from King Xerxes' point of view, he just knows that Haman wants to destroy her and her people. So he's taking that as an attack, that Haman was a secret enemy the whole time, wanting to destroy the king's rulership, wanting to destroy the king's wife, wanting to destroy the king's wife's people, like everything connected with him. So he sees him, as an enemy at that point, because he feels betrayed, because he didn't realize that Haman was carrying out his own evil intentions and then using his decree to wipe out the queen's loved ones, as well as potentially her, which he loved. He didn't care to know what was going on. So once he realized he had been manipulated, he took that as an attack on everything. You see what I'm saying? So he was looking at it from a larger angle, even though Haman most likely didn't mean it that way, but it doesn't matter. He's like, I'm gonna defend everything that comes with my baby girl, Esther, and attack on her is an attack on me, essentially. So I also want to go back because I skipped over something, because the video my phone died before, basically, like cut between. So I also kind of just hopped back into the story without telling y'all this part. So while Mordecai was waiting at the gate before Haman came out and went to his family, he spoke, he talked down on him to go to his family to get him impaled on a pole. But within that time frame, the King Xerxes was bored, so he asked him to order books that he used to like journal all the good things that happened in his rulership, and it's like almost like a diary. So within that diary, he saw that there was something inscribed in there that Mordecai had saved King Xerxes from being assassinated because he overheard two of his guards talking about assassinating him. And he told one of the servants, and in turn, they found out it was true, and they slaughtered the two servants that were gonna assassinate him. But nothing was ever done for Mordecai. So within that time period, while all this stuff is going on, all this chaos is ensuing, this is after Mordecai refused to bow down to Haman. And remember, the king don't know about this. This is all personal between Haman and Mordecai, right? So when the king saw that in a book, he was like, wow, what has ever been done for this guy, Mordecai, you know, who basically spared my life, because I would have been dead. I would have been assassinated. They said nothing, sir. So basically, Haman was coming back from talking down on Mordecai with his family. And when he got there, the king was like, I want to honor somebody. There's somebody I want to honor. What would you do as a king if you favored someone? And Haman's so conceited and arrogant, he's like, who else could the king be talking about but me? So he basically laced it up in a way that was saying, all right, he's talking about me, obviously, so let me say all these good things so he can do it for me. Ride me around on a horse, put me in the nicest robes, tell everybody that, you know, I'm powerful, you know, and I have prestige, and make them under me and everything like that. But the whole time while he's saying to do all these things and reward this person who he assumes is himself, he had to do all of that for Mordecai, because the king looked at him, again, not knowing about him and Mordecai's situation. He said, do this for this man called Mordecai. He spared my life, so I want you to do all these good things for him. So Mordecai was exalted, and he was exalted and paraded around by Haman, who absolutely despised him. That was actually one of the reasons he also wanted to kill Mordecai, because he was parading him around a horse and saying, the king favors him, the king, you know, exalts him, and he hated him. You see what I'm saying? So God exalted Mordecai and made Haman actually be the one to parade him around and give him that exaltation, even though he hated him. So in the end, basically, Haman was killed, right? The same trickery he had set up came upon him. The king said, do what he was gonna do to Mordecai. And so they impaled him on that 75-foot pole or tree, depending on what translation you read, but the pole, and he died. And the king had a decree sent out and put Mordecai in a position that Haman was in, which is the king's visor, as the king's vizier. And from that point forward, he gave the signet, his ring, that stamp, that decree marker to Mordecai, and they sent the decree out, and they let the Jews arm themselves, protect themselves, and fight anybody in the kingdom off who was against him. And they were successful in that, and Mordecai grew in ranking, and because of Esther's influence, the Jews were saved. And They were able to fight and defend themselves and slaughter some people within the kingdom who had animosity towards them. So this just shows you God can use any situation to elevate you and move chess pieces around to favor whatever his cause is. So I was making that short and sweet because my device gonna die. So that's why I ain't, go and make it as flowing as I usually would, but you get the point of the story, right? Pick up your Bibles and read your Bible because there's lessons that you can apply to your daily life, right? Thanks for watching.